let's do the final story before we go into like just talking about TV and stuff. Now, this was a weird one because there's arguably a bigger story about this show, but I'm not going to do that one because I don't think that should be revealed, and I'm annoyed that the BBC have done that. So I'm just going to tell a different story that's just a sort of interesting to think about the potential for the season. In fact, we'll merge this with our discussion of the first episode, I think. So, Doctor Who's back.
You're assuming I'm going to chat, but all right.
I think a Doctor Who story. I think I'd be amazed if you didn't say chat, Chris. I think this is the safest of all the stories on my list, but we'll do that anyway. We'll play the game then. We'll play the game. The Doctor Who story, Peter Capaldi claims to have already filmed his death.
Okay. Well, purely because I got in at 1:45 last night and watched the episode in advance of this podcast.
Yeah.
I'll probably say chat.
Okay. So,
I think it's a shame because I think the fact that he's saying he's filmed it, the fact that they keep showing shots of him glowing and all that stuff suggests that we might get what we've always wanted, whereby he regenerates towards the end of this season, and by some timey-wimey bullshit, the new Doctor is there, but then Capaldi's still in the Christmas special as well. So we get to see who the new Doctor is revealed on TV without knowing that that's going to happen, and we actually find out who the new Doctor is the way we should find out who the new Doctor is. But I think by constantly saying shit like that and saying things like, "Oh, the regeneration is complicated this year," it's more likely to break. And by doing this ridiculous thing, and I won't reveal what the spoiler is, but like the original plan for that reveal in a major reveal in a trailer, which by the looks of it they don't have much footage of, so I don't know how it was going to get leaked. They were going to do a trailer and then go, spoilers, look away in 5, 4, 3. How lame is that? Like, just, it's like, I understand why all movie trailers now have that 30-second bit at the beginning where they preview the trailer. It's so that they can run it as an advert on YouTube, and then if people see the title of the film and a little bit of it before they have a chance to say skip. I understand it, but it's just not. It's good for marketing and bullshit, not good for enjoyment of people watching it. And I understand there has to be a mix between the two, but it just annoys me if I hear one more classic rock song in a Marvel or DC trailer. I'm going to get really annoyed. But although fair play to Thor for getting
I mean, fuck me.
Yeah, how they got Led Zeppelin. But it's weird because so many people, like, if you have a slight knowledge of like movies and or music, you know how incredible it is that they got Led Zeppelin. So it felt like with the Thor trailer, there were people loving it, and there were people loving it going, how the fuck did they get Led Zeppelin? And I've said that to so many people, and they've just been like, I don't know what that means. So I'm glad at least that you're like, how the fuck did they get Led Zeppelin? Like, you realise as well that that's fucking crazy.
That's nuts. Nuts.
But yeah, so if they've done that, keep it to be an actual surprise. Don't if he's going to regenerate a couple of episodes in, or even at the end of the season when we think he's coming back for Christmas, don't have him say that, and don't put in shots of him regenerating in the trailer. It's bullshit. Like,
yeah, I think it's desperate ratings grabbing.
Yes, yeah.
It feels like it to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but historically we've proven that Moffat quite likes to keep this sort of shit under wraps. He's very much of the opinion of you shouldn't know, right? We've proven that over multiple seasons of him running this show. Every time there's been big twists, he's done his utmost to keep it under wraps, and sometimes it leaks and he gets angry, and sometimes it doesn't, and he's all smug. Fine. There's no way this is his call. I reckon he's put this season together with all these twists and turns, the spoiler that we're not going to talk about here, because I don't think you should know. And of course, this other thing that's been sort of hinted at is that for whatever reason, Capaldi has already filmed his character's death. Whether he's back for the Christmas special or not, we don't know. But that's still a lot of information we shouldn't have, in my opinion.
He did on Graham Norton say, "I'm in the Christmas special."
Right. Okay. So
he did reference
weird.
it.
Weird. We don't know what's happening, but it does sound like we might be getting something we talked about wanting a few episodes of this podcast ago. Here's the thing. It seems to me that the BBC have looked at the show's ratings, just the sort of television-y ratings. We know that the show pretty much seems to appeal to a similar number of people than it did back in its heyday. It's just that they're watching through iPlayer and stuff now. Maybe a slight drop, but nothing significant. Doctor Who is Doctor Who, and it will always attract a certain amount of attention. The Christmas specials certainly seem to be getting less popular, that's for sure. Their ratings seem to be lower every year.
Which is a shame, because as discussed, I loved this year's Christmas special.
Yeah, it was a good special.
It was great.
Yeah, it was good fun. It feels to me that in the face of potentially sort of, you could argue lower ratings, although again, you could argue otherwise too, because of the thing, but it seems to me that the BBC have gone, shit, we need to do something to be attention grabby this year, and without really, I'm sure, Moffat's approval, they've gone, we'll reveal this, we'll reveal this, we'll reveal that. Because there's no way Capaldi didn't say what he said without being told he could say it.
Capaldi was prompted to say that, without a doubt, yeah.
Yeah, he was said, you can say this, you can say that, you can say that, because otherwise they just lock down about these shows, usually actors, don't they? Because of spoilers. So it very much felt deliberate, and it feels like just a way to sort of boost ratings, and I think that's kind of cheap and a real shame, because I'm on Moffat's side. Some of this stuff, it's better to not know. So yeah,
completely agree.
That is a shame. So that's that story.
What I love is you were worried. You were like, oh, I hope we don't get this kind of this bullshit of like, oh, it's leading up to his death and oh, the Doctor. And you even said, I think at one point, oh, just it's all that crap, and it's all like, oh, the fall of the Doctor, da 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 da. And the final episode of this season is literally called The Doctor Falls.
Is it really? Have they revealed that?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I looked at it and I was like, Dan's gonna love that title.
It's just that every year, can't he just die out of nowhere like people do? Oh my god! Like, why is he always getting foreshadowing of his own death? It's nuts. This is like the fifth time in a row he spent a season weeping about his death before it happens. Eccleston was the last Doctor that got a proper death like that, where it just came out of nowhere. Come on. Let the Doctor have his fun, not be all moody and, oh, at some point soon I'm dying. It's getting to the end of my time because some bullshit mystical thing has tipped me off. Fuck off. Oh,
to be fair, it's his own fault because this Doctor spent most of his time punching a glass wall in order to get to Gallifrey. But also, the episode itself, the pilot, I thought was fantastic. I thought it felt fresher than Doctor Who has felt in years. I thought that the companion was wonderful. I thought she felt rounded and like she had an actual character, which was great. And I like the fact that there was, at least at the moment, none of this, ooh, there's mystery, there's ooh, surrounding her. I think Clara was cloaked in so much mystery that some of it got left unresolved, like, you know, why the TARDIS hated her or whatever. So I'm glad that she's just a character that feels fresh and feels exciting, and yeah.
I would agree. I think the episode's a really good mini reset on the show. It's been away for a little while. Christmas special notwithstanding. I mean, it's had a year off. More than a year off. It's had like when was the last time we saw an episode? Like 2 years ago. 2015, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it had all of 2016 off, just didn't do anything. So at least a year and a half. So it's like, yeah, it's cool to see it come back. And I will say that in this case, like, what they've done is sort of give it a mini reboot, like a nice little introduction to the world. So this episode that aired for us last night, we're recording this Sunday morning on April the 16th. It was a very like. It's that story that they did in the opening episode of Torchwood. Is you sort of tell it from the eyes of the person stepping into the world. So Bill becomes your way of coming into the story of the Doctor without actually knowing. If you could watch this episode without knowing anything about Doctor Who, and it would sort of mildly introduce you to all the concepts. like in a sort of nice bit by bit way. Because as she learns about who and what the Doctor is, you do. They did this brilliant thing where she like took longer than most of the previous companions to get to the "it's bigger on the outside, bigger on the inside" gag. It's a really good sort of introduction to the world, and I think that's kind of what the show needs after that much of a break. It's not maybe the best episode of the show, but it is very enjoyable. Originally, it was called the Star in Their Eye, or the Star in Her Eye, and that's obviously at some point in the recent couple of months, very very close to the show airing, got renamed the pilot. Yeah, it's relatively enjoyable. The actual sort of Monster of the Week stuff is a bit evil puddle with space oil, but otherwise it is a very enjoyable episode, and has a lot of promise for the subsequent season. I don't know if I have much more to say about it, Matt. Do you, Chris?
I couldn't. I turned you down so far I couldn't hear you. No, I'm joking. I could hear you. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it almost felt like it was called the pilot deliberately to fit that sort of reset thing. I think it's weird because yes, the Monster of the Week was a bit weak to the point where I was like, they haven't really got into this monster, like they've explained what it is, but really it's just chasing them. And it was like there were only 10 minutes left, and I was like, oh, clearly we're not going to get much more of this. But they connected it so much to her character and what her character wants and stuff like that I and those two actors had really good chemistry with each other that I forgave it. Like I was like, oh, fine. Like it's just, a Monster of the Week where actually it's the point of it is to connect it closely to a character, like so. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like I said, a really enjoyable episode, but not necessarily a somewhat sort of down the middle episode. So I think this one will not be remembered as a classic. It will be a sort of oh yeah, there was that episode with the space puddle. Do you know what I mean?
It's
like
weird because I thought one thing I loved is I just thought it served as a really good introduction to Bill. But then I thought about it and I was like, well, actually, Rose was a really good introduction to Rose.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Rose was terrible.
Partners in Crime, which
not the character that episode.
I know technically it's The Runaway Bride was Donna's first, but her series arc, Partners in Crime, was great. Like,
yes.
Amy's introduction was especially fantastic. Like, it's not rare for them to have a really great introduction. So
no, even Martha, her first episode is great.
Yeah. Smith and Jones.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the only one I haven't really liked so far actually is Rose's first episode. The minute the bin eats Mickey and he comes back as a plastic man, like no.
Classic. Noel Clark can pull it off, man. What I think he can. Love that man.